I just want to ask you, for the record, did you kill my father?
No, I didn't, no.
A convicted assassin is dead. James Earl Ray, imprisoned for killing the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., protested his innocence until he died this afternoon. Whatever he might have known about the killing, he took with him to the grave. Good evening, everyone. I'm Larry Kane.
And I'm Dawn Stensland. Ray was at the center of one of the most infamous murders in U.S. history. He died from liver disease and kidney failure 30 years and 3 weeks after King was killed. It was April 4th, 1968. Reverend King walked out onto a motel balcony in Memphis, Tennessee with Jesse Jackson and Ralph Abernathy. Now, moments later, one gunshot was heard, and King fell dying as those around him pointed to where the shot originated. Ray was captured in London 2 months later and pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to 99 years, but quickly recanted his guilty plea and claimed a conspiracy. Ray, seen here just 3 weeks ago, tried for years to get a new trial and was supported, actually, by Dr. King's family. Today, Jesse Jackson said in part,
regretfully, he was the pawn in a conspiracy to kill Martin Luther King Jr. But I am convinced that James Earl Ray, in fact, did kill Dr. King, but did not act alone.
As you can imagine, Ray's death is bringing reaction here and across the country. And Eyewitness News anchor Beverly Williams is live at the Afro-American History Museum in Philadelphia.
Dawn, Larry, James Earl Ray is as controversial in death as he was in life. And tonight, many civil rights leaders who worked with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. are asking, what did Ray know before he died? Coretta Scott King, who believed Ray was a scapegoat, called his death a tragedy. And just last year, Dexter King met face-to-face with Ray. He and the King family formed an unlikely alliance and called for a trial that never was. And in Philadelphia, news of James Earl Ray's death spread quickly through the Martin Luther King Jr. Association for Nonviolence. Director Tita Banks reacted to the death.
It means that there's a missing link in history. He took some information to his grave. We're pretty certain that he did not act alone.
Coretta Scott King asked President Clinton recently to investigate her husband's assassination. And today, the call continues.
The hope is that people do not see this as the closing of the chapter. And because of his death, that means that is the end of all investigation.
But at the headquarters of the Hospital Workers Union, Local 1199C, the union president says there won't be future investigations.
To open up a situation that questions the moral foundation of the nation is not where this nation will end up today nor tomorrow.
We felt that way about Medgar Evers' death, remember? It took 30 years to bring the person to justice.
So the death of the man who killed Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. leaves the nation with more questions than answers. Live in Center City, Beverly Williams, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Bev. Now, here's something that I thought was fascinating. Larry, you were actually there the moment Ray was captured?
I was in Heathrow Airport waiting for a plane to Paris. I had just had lunch with the Beatles, ironically, in London on the way to an assignment in Paris. I saw a commotion. A man was grabbed by a bunch of police. I didn't know who he was. I called the station in Philadelphia. They didn't know. I called Scotland Yard, and they said the alleged assassin of Martin Luther King had been arrested. And then a few days later, I attended his arraignment in Bow Street Court in London. Ironically, we broke the story during the funeral of Robert F. Kennedy. So it was a couple of months, a cycle of assassination, tragedy, and then, of course, capture. And it was amazing just to be there at the time. Stay with Eyewitness News and CBS for continuing coverage of James Earl Ray's death tonight.
Dan Rather will have much more on the CBS Evening News at 6:30. And we have some breaking news. This just into Eyewitness News. There has been a shooting inside a variety store in the Strawberry Mansion section of Philadelphia. A woman was shot and killed during a robbery at Frank's Variety Store, a store on the 2600 block of Cecil B. Moore. Happened just about an hour ago. The victim described as a woman in her 50s. No word yet if any arrests have been made.
Accused killer Arthur Bomar speaks out for the first time, taking the witness stand during a pretrial hearing on charges he murdered college athlete Amy Willard.
Eyewitness News reporter Walt Hunter is live at the Delaware County Courthouse with the story. Walt.
Well, Don, you know, for the family of murder victim Amy Willard, it was a day they had both hoped for and dreaded. The day that the man accused of killing their daughter would take the witness stand.
Not long after this van brought accused killer Arthur Bomar to the courthouse, Amy Willard's father and mother, Gail, arrived. In the courtroom, Mrs. Willard's eyes bore into Bomar for the entire 2 hours he was on the stand. Assistant District Attorney Dan McDevitt firing questions. Did you know Amy Willard? Did you put a knife to her throat? Did you put her body into a van? No, Bomar calmly replied each time.
I thought he did well. He was calm, he was cool, he was collected, he was precise in his questions.
Bomar's brother-in-law had testified the suspect described abducting Willard from her car on the Blue Route in June 1996, then raping and killing her after she had begged for her life. In court, Bomar denied the statements, claiming he was framed. Referring to the Simpson murder case, I said, they're not going to do me like they did O.J. Bomar did admit he told police he had visited Smokey Joe's bar in Wayne, the last place that Willard was seen alive. District Attorney Pat Meehan says the case against the suspect remains a strong one.
We certainly have confidence we have the right man.
As Amy's mother and family left the courthouse, the consensus was Bomar's decision to testify did not dramatically help or hurt his case. But listening to 2 days of sometimes gruesome testimony did leave its mark on those who loved Amy.
Yesterday, I could hear Amy's voice begging for her life, and that was overwhelming. And today, I have to meet the challenge once more, to face, to accept, to love Amy deeply, and to go on.
Now, everyone here agrees that Bomar was calm and confident on the stand. The question, was it the calmness of an innocent man getting a chance to tell his story, or the calmness of a man who's already been convicted of murder once in his life, trying to manipulate the system? That will be up to a jury to decide. The trial expected to begin here in late summer or early fall. Live from the Media Courthouse, Walt Hunter, Eyewitness News. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Walt.
A mother charged as an accomplice in the murder of 10-year-old Crystal Carlson has been released on bail. Cynthia Plummer, the mother of this man, suspected killer William McPherson, was arrested last night. Now, she's charged with evidence tampering and hindering prosecution. Authorities say Plummer saw the girl's body and encouraged her son to dispose of it. Carlson was found stabbed and strangled over the weekend.
And tonight, a Burlington County, New Jersey man now admits to a killing spree in 1995 that left 3 people dead. 33-year-old Hugh Miller sat in court this morning after pleading guilty to the killings. Miller allegedly beat his ex-girlfriend, Corrine Cochran, to death at his condominium. Then hours later, he allegedly killed his friend Keith Teisman. He ended the rampage by using the same gun to kill his 52-year-old mother. Miller has received 3 consecutive life prison terms.
In Bucks County, a woman accused of operating a sadomasochistic sex parlor in her home, actually her garage, was in court today. Eyewitness News was in Middletown Township as Micheline Nelson, also known as Madam Suzanne, arrived at district court. Nelson allegedly tortured men for money by operating a bondage business, allegedly from her Levittown home. Damaging testimony in today's preliminary hearing came from a man who claims he called Madam Suzanne for services. He talked to Eyewitness News anchor Beverly Williams.
What did you ask Mistress Suzanne over the phone?
Just certain things, if she would be into my sexual fantasies, that's all.
And she said...
And I asked how much her services would be, and she told me.
Now, she denies that. The witness did not want to be identified, obviously. Nelson is charged with prostitution and other related charges. A formal arraignment is expected in the next few weeks.
Well, it's only spring, but summer is back in the news again. The exotic dancer who found herself entwined in the mainline murder case is responding to a prison interview by Craig Rabinowitz. He confessed to killing his wife, Stephanie, inside their home. As we reported to you earlier this week, Rabinowitz told the newspaper that if he somehow were ever let out of prison, the first thing he'd do would be to visit the dancer, Summer, with whom he had a long relationship. Summer said this to KYW News Radio.
Craig Rabinowitz is a sad, troubled, sick person. My heart goes out most of all to his daughter, who will grow up without either of her parents at her side. I have absolutely no desire, intention, or willingness to have any contact, calls, or letters from Craig Rabinowitz.
Rabinowitz pleaded guilty to killing his wife. He's now serving a life prison term.
Coming up.
Were you one of the hundreds stuck in the I-95 mess this morning? I hope not. Find out why it was shut down for so long.
Do you snore or know someone who does? The question's not for you. It's for Dave Franco. We'll tell you about a breakthrough treatment that's coming up in our Eye on Health tonight, Dave.
I know someone, but it's not me. We have a little leftover rain out there right now, but the prodigal son returns. We'll tell you when in the 5-day forecast.
It's all straight ahead on Eyewitness News.
Experts rely on the Weather Channel.
we keep you ahead of the storm. In the next half hour, Weather Center, a comprehensive national forecast. At 40 after, Weather Center continues with highway and air travel conditions. Then the weekend outlook. And at 50 after, Storm Watch. But right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Most of the nation is enjoying a beautiful spring day, but there are two areas of wet weather to tell you about. Good afternoon and welcome to Weather Center. I'm Mike Motley.
And I'm Jill Brown. The majority of the rain is found in the northeast. Some of it is heavy. Light showers are falling from Atlantic City to about Boston. Well, we might update that. We'll see it on the radar in just a moment. And actually, there you go. There's the radar. Now, you can easily pick this out yourself. The darker the green, the heavier the rain. So from Atlantic City, let's see. Not too bad, but we certainly have some heavy rain around Long Island and just spinning west of Hartford at this point. Looks like right around the West Haven area. You're going to see some heavier downpours. Gets light through Norwich, on over to Narragansett Bay. Heavier up around Boston, especially on the northwest side of town. And it's all because of this area of low pressure. You can see how the rain was banding around in a counterclockwise direction, as you might expect. That means the winds are also coming in toward the shore, so blowing that water toward the coast. It's not a strong enough area of low pressure to cause us problems with coastal flooding or anything like that, but there are some gale warnings in effect. I'll show you where in just a moment. Satellite picture shows how nice and clear it is in Cleveland, Ohio, and back through Buffalo. The clouds didn't quite get that far inland. Straight overcast and steady rain for the most part here from southern New England through New Jersey. Then it's more speckly with scattered showers and even some thunder showers as you get farther to the south. Now we have actually a whole lot more in the way of gale warnings. And winds recently around Providence and out toward Martha's Vineyard have been gusting just over 40 miles per hour. So this is your range, 39 to 54 miles per hour. We should be on the low end of that, but still a blustery and a raw night. 46 is what it is right now in Boston. 49 in New York City. With a wind off that cold water, can't get much above the mid-40s to maybe low 50s. Meanwhile, interior sections, it wasn't a bad day. We had a little sun in Pittsburgh, 63 right now. How about that? Saginaw, 71. The farther west you go at this point, the better it gets. East Coast, not so great. Even down around Charlottesville, some showers in Roanoke. You'll be in and out of those on Interstate 81. We haven't seen really much in the way of thunderstorms here, but as you get farther south, we have had a few. We just checked out the warnings, and I believe at this point we have no warnings in effect in Georgia. And things are clearing out around the Atlanta perimeter, so this evening's rush hour, what's left of it, should be running pretty smoothly. Heavier rain is down around Macon, and looks like that rain's trying to get back into Augusta. These thunderstorms don't look real impressive, but they are thunderstorms. You can see that with the lightning data. A few strikes here and there. We do have a chance of some more thunderstorms, it looks like, through this area this evening. Probably not much in the way of severe weather. Satellite picture here will show us that if you get out of that general vicinity, it's a nice day. Florida looks great. Texas, bright and sunny with temperatures in the 80s. And more of that to come as we go into the weekend, which we'll talk about in a minute. Mike?
Well, if we look northwest, that's where you'll find the other area of rain today. Some active weather into Idaho, into Washington, and Oregon. We'll show you some severe weather watch boxes in effect for the west, and we're looking at Oregon and Washington and into Idaho and Montana. These watches in effect through 5 o'clock into Oregon and Washington until 7 o'clock into portions of Idaho and Montana and southern Idaho in effect till 10 o'clock. We have some warnings out there, too, that will pass along to you until 5:15 Mountain Time, a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for southern Boise County and west central Idaho and southern Gem County in southwestern Idaho. We're seeing some heavy storms near the Boise area. I'll show you that in just a moment. And also another warning for northwestern Stevens County and northeastern Washington until 3:15 Central, or Mountain Standard Time, I should say. Now, here's looking at the radar. You can see the heavier showers around Boise, around Interstate 15, or Interstate 84 into the western portion of the state. The showers slowly move towards the north. Light showers around Seattle and dry around Portland, a little towards the east along I-84, some more heavier weather. And here are the showers and the heavier cells into eastern Oregon and Washington State. Now, looking around Spokane, we're seeing cells pop up south of I-90, pushing towards the north and towards the east. We'll go down towards Boise, close up, and you'll see the showers pushing from the south and north towards Boise along I-84. We're seeing heavy weather continue to push away from the city and over the mountains right now. And down into California, you're seeing showers there too. San Francisco is dry. We're seeing the heaviest rainfall along I-80 around Sacramento, going up towards Immigrant Pass and going towards Reno, Nevada, and drier parts of the valley. But we're going to see showers continue as the low pressure in the front comes on shore. Into the Midwest, it's a nicer story. We're looking at lots of sunshine over much of the region today. To Iowa, hardly a cloud in the sky. Some clouds in northern Wisconsin and northern portions of Michigan, and some scattered cloudiness around Illinois, but nice temperatures into the Midwest. Rather uneventful weather with a frontal boundary dipping down from Canada, but not too much to talk about except for nice temperatures. Green Bay at 72, Minneapolis, St. Paul at 72, and Sioux Falls at 72. And speaking of Minneapolis, we'll go there and show you what it was like in one of the Twin Cities today, downtown Minneapolis, the skyline, the famous IDS Tower over the city, as folks take a walk probably around Loring Park or Hennepin Park as they enjoy the city. Temperatures into the 70s, so folks got out and took a walk. The Ducks took a walk